back.
Yeah, this is all new. Oh my goodness, so nervous. I'm just going to throw it out there.
Yep. No worries.
Oh my goodness.
Welcome to the unseen realm.
Yay.
Hey.
Hey, Tony. Oh, Tony's on. Yay. Welcome. It's already crazy. We heard a mysterious, breathy voice while we were in backstage back here. I don't know. That was crazy.
It was, and it was loud. We don't know who it was.
Yeah, we're just talking, and oh, goodness gracious. We already got a ghost.
Yeah, we already do. So if you guys hear something that we don't hear, put it in the comments.
Yes, please. Aw, thanks, Tony.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank
you,
Tony.
Well, welcome.
Yeah.
Yay. Oh my goodness. Yay. I'm getting all these pop-up notifications.
Yeah, so am I.
Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. Yay. Aw.
Welcome everybody to the launch. This is our first, and we're still trying to get through the intricacies of podcasting 101.
Yes.
Hey, Debbie.
Hey, Debbie.
Hey,
Everybody's
Timmy.
coming in. Yay.
Yay.
Aw, hey, everybody.
Hey, Yvette.
Yay.
That. Yay.
Well,
we're just kicking off this show. We're trying to get a feel for the audience and what you guys may want. I believe Katherine put a little
little poll.
Yeah, like a poll taking.
Yeah, unfortunately, Facebook doesn't allow polls on pages, which is kind of crazy. They only allow it on group pages. So I posted a little poll on the Unseen Realm Facebook page, but then also I'm doing one down here. Now, this is only some of them. So, it just says, what topics would you guys like to see on our show? Like number one, investigation giveaways, live stream investigations, video evidence reviews, how to use equipment, cryptids, aliens, Bigfoot, or other. And what we mean by other is just like, any ideas that you guys may have, put it in the comments and we'll gather all y'all's feedback from whatever you guys would like to see. Yeah. And then, come up with some videos, and these are just some of the things. Yeah, these are just some of the things that we came up with, and just thought, to give you guys some ideas of what we're thinking about, and maybe you guys come up with something too, that y'all are wanting to see. So, yeah.
It's truly an interactive show.
Yes. Yes.
And who do we have for our first guest?
Victoria's like, it ain't
actually just walked out.
I was just about to say, where's the cat?
He left. He left. When's that voice?
Oh,
that really was a creepy voice. And
that was a creepy voice, and it was very breathy, and it was none of us.
Yeah, and there's no one in my room. I mean, you can't tell. I'm in the forest. No. So there's no one behind me. You can kind of see like a cat, tent behind me a little bit. When I put my arm this way, then you can see the hole.
I think it's in Victoria's house.
Yeah.
I think it is. It's,
yeah.
Yeah, there has been, I've been telling Carla, like I'll send her messages. Oh, I just saw a shadow person go by. And she's like, oh my God, are you okay? I'm like, well, yeah, he's going to the fridge. I think we're okay. Going to make a sandwich or something.
Make me worry.
Yeah. I want to take this moment to say thank you so much and good luck. This is actually Diet Coke So good luck to you. Cheers.
Aw.
Cheers,
Yeah.
cheers.
Cheers. I don't have a drink with me, so I'll use my bubble gum.
Clink, clink.
Nice.
Good luck on your inauguration. Your inaugural show.
Yay. Now I'll use my bubble gum,
Okay.
since I don't have a drink in
Hey,
me.
Holly.
We just do pretend like we have mugs that.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Clink. It looks like we're hitting each other, but we're really not.
Yes.
My Diet Coke to you.
Cheers.
Yay.
Cheers, and you have a long and happy and successful podcast.
Yay.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, Eric's on. He says, hi, Mom. Aw. Hey, welcome.
That's right.
Aw.
Okay, so we have Victoria Mundae.
Woo.
She is
Hi.
yeah. An author. And what was it? Is the Paranormal Princess?
Yeah.
Sometimes, if it depends on what I'm wearing. Well, no, not like that, Adam. I mean, if I have my crown.
Paranormal Perfect Storm. Woo.
That's it.
The perfect storm.
Because nobody
Yeah.
survives the perfect storm.
Oh,
That's the joke,
So tell us, Victoria, what got you into this to begin with? What made you become a writer? And then what made you become a writer of all things like paranormal or like energy vibration type?
Well, to be honest, the first thing I wrote, I think I was around 4 years old. I'm sure it was destined to be a major screen blockbuster. It was about these dancing crayons that I had. It was only the 6-pack, so there was a limited cast. And after that, I never stopped. I went to the high school for the performing and visual arts, and I majored in, well, at first photography. And then they said, okay, we have too many people. Your last 2 people, you need to get up. You want to go to creative writing or do you want to go to film? And I was the next to last. I'm like, duh. So I went to film. So because I didn't want to write because I enjoy writing so much. And just been doing that my whole life.
Really?
Mm.
Wow. Well, you've got we'll get into a little bit of your books and type of books and some of the other little activities
and
that you have
goodies.
going on. And goodies.
The tea.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. It is so good. I have the fairy dust black tea, which is vanilla and cinnamon,
That's
and it
my
is
favorite.
so
good.
it is so good,
Yeah.
and it smells so good. I wish I could transport smells
Yeah,
through
kinda just like
computer.
make smell.
Can you smell it?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
When you did that, it was kind of like Harry Potter, where you open up the tent.
Oh
and
yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's like chai tea, except it's got,
Yes.
mama's chai tea,
Mhm.
So it smells
Hey,
good.
Maddie.
Hey, Maddie.
Yes.
Hey, Maddie.
Oh, it is so good.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I've been
fun.
trying. Here, this is an exclusive just for you guys.
Oh,
Oh no! Wait, hold on. I've been working.
Ooh,
on
exclusive.
I like it.
I've been working on this for HHL. I'm assuming I'm going to get to come back. I don't know. I haven't heard. I don't know after the last time. Thank God I had an AV guy there. I'm still waiting for your Yelp page to come up so I can leave you a review. But,
Adam.
Adam's
That's still in the process.
he stepped up.
it's like, what are you doing, crazy woman? I started making these. I don't know if you can see them or not. Here, they're keychains.
Oh, wow.
Well,
Like-
you're seeing my reflection, but it's
But I
tarot
see
card-
it.
I see it.
tarot card keychains.
Oh,
So it has an
cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to get one.
Yep.
There's 22.
Yeah.
Major Arcana. But yeah, so I figured, I saw the little baubles that were being sold there. I'm like, I can bauble with the rest of them.
That's right. You surely can.
Yeah.
I can bauble.
Yeah. Awesome. And that's going to be in November.
Mm-hmm.
First weekend, whatever that date is.
Yeah. And it's still going to be in Jefferson. Yeah.
As far as I know.
Yeah.
I think I saw Jody post something not too long ago. It's like when we have HHL the first weekend in November. So I'm still assuming everything's the same, but
Yeah.
if not, I'm
Exciting.
stuck with a lot of keychains.
And for those of you that don't know what HHL, it's History, Haunts, and Legends. It's pretty much a full packed weekend of all kinds of events, vendors, investigations, tours. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Golf carts.
So talk to us about how you got roped into the paranormal. Like what made you think to go into that realm?
I was 2, so I didn't really know. It's going to sound weird, but I never really told anybody until I was doing no stairs. Elevator only.
Know your audience.
First floor. When I was doing the Edge of the Rabbit Hole, the first Edge of the Rabbit Hole, now we're on Edge of the Rabbit Hole 2.0. I was talking to Andrea Perrin, and if you ever talk to her, she has this spell she puts on you, and you just open up and you tell her your whole life. And so she was telling us about her extraterrestrial contacts and all that kind of stuff, and and how she's contacted, as she calls them, the global family, the galactic family. Sorry. And so I started telling her, it's like, I remember this weirdest thing, and then I remember it. I can still see it. I can close my eyes right now and still see it. But when I was about 2.5, we were living in this old house, and there was 3 bedrooms, and they were all on one side of the house. And I was in the middle bedroom. My mom and sister were in the first bedroom, and they were having this knockdown, drag out fight, which was par for the course. They were always fighting. And so I took it as my opportunity to go jump on the bed. So I'm in the room jumping on the bed, it's like, only time I can do it, and I won't get in trouble because she's getting in trouble. But there was this window behind the bed, and the way the houses were shaped, there was like never any wind going through there, but there was a Chinese tallow tree just outside the window. And if you know those, they have the little seeds. It sounds like maracas when the wind starts to blow, and the wind never blew over there. And then for all of a sudden, it just started blowing, and the leaves were going like this across the shade, and you could hear the chick. So I stopped bouncing, and I look over there, and then when I look forward, there was a lady standing in the room, and it's going to sound weird, but she looked like the one of the fairy godmothers out of Sleeping Beauty. And
Really?
she told me, she was like really nervous and looking around, and she didn't move her mouth. And so I'm 2, so I don't know what telepathy is, and I'm just saying, hey, there's this lady in my bedroom that looks like a fairy godmother. And she looked at me and she goes, "You're not like them. You're one of us." And, kind of bouncing on the bed, and I'm looking at her. And then she leaned a little forward, and she goes, "You're not like them. You're one of us." And then the tree started shaking again. So I looked back over. I'm like, what the heck's going on? The tree's going again. And when I looked forward, she was gone. So I could hear the fight starting to wind down in the next room. I'm like, well, I better get off the bed. So I get off the bed, and I run in there, and I asked my mom, I said, who was that lady who was in the room? And my mom she tried her best, but she was not a good parent. And she said a few choice words. She goes, "There's no lady in the house, and boom, get out of here." And so I never told anybody, because every time I would say something, people would look at me like,
right.
So the night we had Andrea Perrin on, I start telling her this, and she goes, "And what did the lady look like?" And I was like, "Well, she looked like one of the fairy godmothers." And she goes, "Describe her." So I described her, and she goes, "Okay. Do you know who that was?" Right? I'm like, flora, fauna. I don't know which one it was. She looked Celtic, she had this Celtic plaid thing on. She goes, "No, that was a shape-shifting extraterrestrial." I'm like, what? So just that message, like, you're not like them, you're one of us, has always comforted me, because all 3 of you know me, and I'm like a thumb. I don't really fit in anywhere. But you can't But you can't work without the thumb, can you? I mean,
Right.
Okay.
you'll never get the peanut butter open. Pickle jar is another story. So I was telling, there was an ET researcher up at the Haunted Hill House in Mineral Wells last year, and I went to go support Teal Gray, who was having her book release. And so I started talking to him, and he goes, I hear that all the time. And he goes, do you know why she appeared like that? I'm like, no, I don't know. But apparently it's something that extraterrestrials can do is they can scan your brain, appear as something that is familiar to you, so you're not frightened. Like, oh, I never thought of that. And then I started thinking about all the UFO experiences I've had, and I've had missing time and everything, and the dead people are showing up everywhere, and I'm talking to them, and you've seen my garage. There's people walking around in the garage at night.
Yeah. You've got something in there.
I don't know. But, life goes on.
Oh,
Wow.
that's crazy.
And
so did you end up being did you start to not be afraid of it and embrace it? And
I've never been afraid. No.
Okay.
Because when I was 7, my grandfather died. I remember totally. I have this remarkable memory. I can't remember earlier today. But, things that happened when I was 2, sure, I can tell you all about that. But my grandpa died on a Sunday afternoon. And at that time, there was no VCRs invented. There was no digital recording. There was no streaming or anything. And so if you wanted to see the wonderful world of Walt Disney, you had to be showered or bathed and in front of the TV at 6 o'clock, because otherwise you were going to miss it. Yeah. So my grandfather had died in the afternoon. And so we had to come in and get our baths and everything. And then we were sent off to bed, and I missed the wonderful world of Disney. And I was really upset about that because, when you're a kid, that's all you have really back then. And so I was sitting in my bed and I was playing with little stuffed animals, because it was 6 o'clock. I was mad and it was not even dark yet. And so I'm playing with my little critters, and I see this milky white translucent form on the floor. And I was like, oh, okay, I don't know what that is. So I'm looking, I'm like, well, I've never seen that before, and I'm 7 at this point. I was in 1st grade. And it starts taking a shape, and I realized it was a person, and he was laying down, and I was like, that's my grandpa. And so he was laying down like the coroner would have taken him off or something. And he sits straight up, and he's looking straight in front of him, which was my bedroom door. I'm over on the left-hand side. And so he turns his head and he looks at me, and I'm like, oh, okay, that is Grandpa, and he raises his finger. Again, don't know what telepathy is, because apparently it hadn't been invented at that point, or something. Yeah. And he says to me without saying anything, don't worry, I'm okay. And I'm like, okay. And he was doing that, so he's telling me to be quiet, and he goes, now lay down and go to bed. And I'm like, 6 o'clock, I'm like, okay, but when Grandpa tells you to lay down and go to bed, you lay down and go to bed.
Right.
And so he laid back down and he disappeared. And this has happened time and time and time. My husband showed up when he died, and he hung around for 3 weeks before his body was missing and no one found him. So he was hanging out with me. My mom, my dad won't go away. He's been here 6 times at least. And that I have actually physically seen with my eyes, and then one time Toby picked him up. And so I got my dowsing rods out. I said, is there somebody here? And the dowsing rods go, yes. I said, okay, can you tell me, is it my dad? And they go, yes. And can you point to him? And he pointed over at the table, and that's where Toby was looking. Toby's my cat. Toby had these really huge eyes, like, and so, my best friends, all 3 of them. Who else? That's pretty much it. Everybody I know and I've loved, my grandmothers, grandfathers, they all kind of show up right as they're dying or right before they die. And I think it's like a kind of a cosmic pre-show, like, get ready, this is going to happen, because, I fall apart. I cry easily. So
yeah,
it gets me prepared,
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
Does that happen to you then? I mean, do you see people before they pass?
No, I mean, I had a kind of crazy story. It's not like paranormal, but my grandma, she had dementia, and I believe she knew that she wasn't going to be around any longer, because on Christmas Day, well, it was actually Christmas Eve, because we always went over to my grandparents' house on Christmas Eve. But this time, my grandma, she moved in with my uncle, and my uncle was taking care of her. And we had Christmas at his house on Christmas Eve. And when we went over to visit, my grandma, took me and my mom into her room, and she had her jewelry out in her jewelry box. And she goes, I know you always wanted this jewelry box. So, I want you to have it. And then she was going through her jewelry and like letting me and my mom, pick some, of her things out because she was wanting to give it to us, because I think she had a feeling that she wouldn't be around for much longer.
Yeah.
And her dementia was so bad to the point where like every 5 minutes she thought the FBI that they were going to, come get her or something, because she wasn't a part of, selling her trailer home and her mobile home and stuff. And so, my uncle took care of all that. And so my uncle would be like, no, I have all the documents, the documents, you're fine. No one's coming after you, that kind of thing. And then my grandma would remember, and then she'd be like, oh, this dementia. But then all of a sudden, 5 minutes later, she would get back into like rocking and kind of, worried, panicking because, she forgets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, but I think like deep down inside, she knew that, she wouldn't be having to deal with this any longer, and so, what's crazy though is like my grandma, after she gave us, the jewelry and all that, she went to the piano because my uncle had a piano there for her to, play, because she used to play piano all the time. And when she was younger, she used to play like at shows and stuff. And she got on the piano and just played Christmas songs for like, 30 minutes, an hour, or whatever. And I just recorded the whole thing and why she played and stuff, and kept, playing. And I just had this feeling that, she may be thinking she's not going to be around for much longer.
Yeah.
Or something's going to happen, and then after December, after Christmas, May rolls around, and it's like, I don't know if it was before, I forget the exact day, but it was either before or after Mother's Day. I went to visit her because she ended up falling, and I think she like broke her hip or something, but she was in a nursing home kind of thing.
Mhm.
Not a nursing home, but it's like a rehab where you have to push a button, the light comes on or something, they come in, and yeah. But I went and I visited her, and it seemed like she was starting to get better and stuff, but then like she ended up just falling ill, and next thing I know, my uncle calls and lets my parents know, like right after, I came and I visited her and stuff, that she ended up passing away.
Oh,
Because the
I'm
first time
sorry.
around I was going to go with my parents, but I ended up not going with my parents the first time around. And so then the second time that I was able to go, I ended up going, and then right after that is when she ended up passing away. But it seemed like she was getting better and all that. But yeah, so I just from that moment, and it was crazy because I remember on the ride home after visiting my grandma and seeing her just laying there, and I gave her the pillow, the Happy Mother's Day pillow. And I was just sitting in the car, and I was listening to The Scientist by Coldplay.
Mhm.
I was listening to that song, and I like to listen to music a lot and stuff, and I always associate songs to certain feelings and like emotions and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And part of that song, I know it's about like losing a girlfriend or something like that, but it made me think of my grandma, and I was just watching the trees go by, and I just knew that this may be the last time I see my grandma. And then come to find out, she ended up passing away.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think they know because my grandmother was, she was like 89 And she came over to my dad's house for Christmas, and I was leaving. I was going back to college, and she looked at me and she goes, "I'll see you when I see you." I'm like, "Well, okay." And then she passed away a few weeks later. I'm like, "Okay." So I think they do know.
Yeah.
There's something
Especially when they start asking for like family, like to talk to everybody and to, it's just like that's their way of, saying final goodbyes or, yeah.
But the beauty of it is, since we're all in the paranormal, they're really not gone. You can talk to them anytime, and good Lord, they come back all the time.
Yeah.
Just stay in the garage is all I'm asking right now. Just stay in the garage, because it's.
Yeah.
You got something in your garage, that's for sure.
Yeah, I just looked. I saw a shadow person walking around.
Yeah,
and I feel like with. I was gonna say,
go ahead,
that's how I feel like with, like people like us, like we understand, like there is something after each one of us dies, and I feel like in a way, like it has helped me feel better about death and dying, and like once our bodies die, like there is something there after. So it's like that does make me feel better about. I mean, of course, when somebody passes away, it's never a good thing, but at the same time, it's like they've gone to like a better place, like they say, and
it's not the end.
Yeah,
it's not the end, right?
Yeah.
So.
No, I have my barriers up, and I say it every day. Only love and light may enter here, and so that's why I'm not worried. When I was in the office the other day and I saw a shadow person walk by and saw a shadow cat, or I thought it was Toby, and I went to go to get out of my room because my clothes are still out over there. And, he wasn't in there. Oh, where are you? I swear, I saw a black animal. It's like his tail was up, like, I'm in here. And I was like, no, my garb is still out. Don't go in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
He wasn't in there. So,
yeah, and I know Joe mentioned that she may have been waiting for you to come, and I think so too. I didn't want to say that out loud, but I think that's she saw my mom and my uncle and all that, and so she was waiting for me to see her before she moved on. But what's crazy is I had that I know Carla and Adam, and I don't know if I told you, Victoria, but I had that thing happened to me where and also being in the paranormal and all that, it does make when it does time to come, the transition a little bit better, because that there is something it gives that. But what was crazy is there was a time that I was feeling really down and really depressed, and I was sorry, I'm getting kind of
No, you're fine.
But
you can still talk to her anytime, and I'll be happy to read for you anytime. If you need to.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
You're fine.
But I don't know why I'm just like. Anyway.
Yes, you do, because she's here with you. That is the thing. No, seriously, when you start getting overwhelmed with emotions, now you're gonna make me cry. They're usually very close.
You'll lose the whole team.
Come on, Adam. Where's my Diet Coke? Okay.
That's
yeah. So I was in the bedroom and I was just talking out loud, and I was just, because I was really down and depressed, because I felt like I don't know, like worthless or stupid, and I felt bad, like no one liked me, kind of thing, and I just had all that negativity in my head, and so I was just talking out loud and just saying, how I felt and what was on my mind, and I was saying that out loud, and I was, the reason why I was saying it out loud is because I knew that like I was calling out to like my grandparents who passed away, my uncle Dennis, and all my family that was no longer here in physical form in our, bodies and all that. But I knew, we're still around, and I was just, talking out loud to them to see if, they're there, and to listen and stuff, and just letting out all my feelings to let them know how I felt. And it was right before I went to sleep. I just, was sitting up on my bed just saying it. And then and I just said, if you can hear me, can you give me a sign? Because I'm just feeling really down. And sorry, I didn't know it was gonna get like this, but I ended up, going to sleep. I ended up laying down, and I ended up going to sleep because normally even I'm, I've had depression before, but I've never had the problem of being able to sleep, because one of the things that I always felt like, maybe if I'm asleep, then I wouldn't have to feel. And so I never had the problem of going to sleep. I could go to sleep. And so I went to sleep, and that weekend I was going to meet my mom for breakfast. We were going to have brunch, and we ended up going to, it was Saturday comes around, and I go and I pick up my mom. We go and have brunch, and my mom told me that she posted on Nextdoor, because my parents love watching, like, ghost hunters, ghost adventures, paranormal shows and stuff. And so she on the Nextdoor app, she ended up posting, because they have a Ring doorbell camera, and she ended up posting some orbs that she saw like in front of the door, like, and she wanted to see what other people thought that was, and she posted on Ring, and then all of a sudden someone around the neighborhood, because it's next door, so
Sure.
someone around the neighborhood ended up messaging my mom and saying, I have a message for you. I got to tell you something. And, I have to tell you this. And my mom's like, okay, what's going on? And she goes, just to let you know, I'm a medium, and that, who came to your door, she has like, like dark hair, and she was describing basically what my grandma looks like. And then she said, and she wanted me to tell you or give you this message that, everything's going to be okay. And, don't worry. And my mom, like, is sitting here telling me about this at breakfast. And I'm just, and she's like, I don't know why this lady told me this. I'm like, my mom was saying how she responded back to her saying, oh, okay, thank you. And then, but my mom's like, I don't know why she's telling me. I'm okay. But it sounds like she's talking to my mom, to your grandma. And then I was like, Mom, that message wasn't for you. That message was for me.
Yeah.
And so, and I was like, and I'm like, Mom, I have to tell you, I just, I was feeling really down and really low, like just, a couple days, before. And I told my mom the whole story, like I'm telling y'all. And my mom was just like, oh my gosh. So she messaged that lady right back and said, that message wasn't for me. That message was for my daughter, oh, thank you. And she's like, and then the lady responded back saying, oh, I'm so glad, because they won't let me sleep. They won't let me. Yeah. So yeah.
Wow.
You know what you have to do now, right? You have to get a Ring doorbell. So
yeah, we have a different one. We have ADT or whatever, but yeah.
Yeah, mine goes off all the time and there's nobody there. It's like, okay, well.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's Jamie Lynn.
She's awesome, by the way.
I was the last one to see my grandma. I always remember the last words we spoke. Aww.
Aww.
Yeah.
Anyway, on to a cheerier subject.
Talk about your books.
What you want to know about them?
All of them. Paranormal activities.
Well, did I ever tell you how I started them?
Not the activity ones.
Okay. Everything in my life revolves around dating when you're past 40, pretty much, or not dating when you're past 40. So I was, my husband died. He died a long time ago, and I'm not married anymore. And my daughter's grown and left me. And Toby doesn't remember my birthday. He does wake me up in the middle of the night every night. Goes, Mom, and then headbutts me. I'm still alive.
Yeah.
So I think he's just checking to see if I'm alive, because I've been laying still for more than an hour. So, which is why I probably don't sleep. But anyway, I decided, what the heck? Almost said something. I went online to keep, I don't know, one of those online dating things. Gosh darn it. And so, I found this really nice guy, and we started chatting, and he's like, oh, so he was really smart too. He was on some task force that actually stopped child trafficking, and I was really impressed. And he was this vice president of company. He's a really nice guy. I wanted to meet him. And so we talked for a long time. He goes, well, what do you do for fun? And I'm thinking, here comes the brakes. I'm like, I really don't want to, I don't think I should tell you what I do for fun. He's like, no, what do you do? I was like, well, do you like movies? He's like, what do you do for fun? I was like, well, I talk to dead people and I go to haunted brothels, He's like, what? I was like, I see dead people everywhere. I'm like that little kid in the 60s. I see dead people. It's like, and I hang out in the haunted brothels most of the time, because I don't know if we have just a whole lot of them here in Texas, or if they're just more fun. I think they're just more fun. But, and, because people went there to have fun. So that's going to be a good place to, investigate and stuff. And he's like, what? And so I started telling him some of the things I've done, because I personally don't believe that anything is scary. I think you manifest that yourself. Like if you go into a place and say, oh, there's a demon, the D word, or there's something's going to scratch me. We have to hold up cards, demon, manifest that, like
hold it up.
This one.
That's right.
But I was in the this one brothel. Okay, that just sounds weird to say. I was in this one brothel, with a group of friends, and there was a lady there, and she goes, "Oh, they know me. They're going to push me down the stairs." And next thing you know, she goes flying down the stairs. Well, she was also wearing a long dress, and I think she tripped on it, and she fell down the stairs. But when you think something evil or negative is there, you're going to manifest that. So me, I'm like a little, Snow White. I walk around and like, and only good things come out, and so like little butterflies fly around, and, a little happy ghost and stuff. And I lost my story. Oh, okay. So I was telling him there's nothing scary here. He's like, you need to write these down. I'm like, why the heck do I want to write these things down? Because they're not scary. I was like, what am I going to do? Make a book and call it Victoria Mundae's Paranormal Activities, and make it like a big coloring book or something? Because it's, it's nothing scary. I was like, man, that's a really good idea. So I gotta go. And, I never met the guy. I did scare him off. When you start talking to people and tell them, I talk to dead people, they're like, the meet and greet turns into a met and regret, and they're out the door.
Met and regret.
So you don't even get to go out. So what? Oh, okay. I got you. So I started thinking, okay, well, what better way to not educate, but to like bring this topic into mainstream conversation and make it more acceptable. Not that I'm doing it by myself or anything. There's like a gazillion people doing it. So I started making these activity books. So they're all paranormal activity books. And so they have like pictures you can colors, and they have the mandalas, and they have like a little kid dressed up like a ghost with a pumpkin. He's going out on Halloween, and there's games and puzzles and activities and word searches and, word scrambles where you have to put the words in the right order, and everything relates to something that's paranormal or esoteric. And so I did that one. I was like, that's kind of fun. I want to do another one, And so I'm like, okay, well, it's almost Halloween. I'm going to do one for the kids, And so I did two. I did a little boy version and a little girl version. And I wasn't really thinking when I created the books, so I made them smaller. The other books are 8.5 by 11, so they're books big. But I made the kids' books really small. And, I put the same things in there, the same number of puzzles and pictures and everything. And then when I finally got an author's copy and looked at it, I'm like, well, dang, blast it. The puzzles were like this big and you really couldn't see the words. I was like, oh, I didn't think about, little things shrinking down. So I was grumbling, and my daughter, who's very wise and loves games and everything, she goes, Mom, this is what you do. You take everything from the second and third book, which were both for kids, just do a few more designs, make it the regular size, and call it a deluxe edition. I'm like, oh, you're brilliant. You're brilliant. So I did that. So that's book, I've lost count, 1, 2, 3, 4. So book 5, because I was really getting into it now. I'm like, well, I know everything about the esoteric worlds. And so I did one with like triangles and everything and, butterflies. What do those mean? I really don't know everything about the esoteric worlds, but that's book 5. And it's more of opening your consciousness and seeing, what's beyond our little 3D realm. So it does have some things in there like triangles and sacred geometry and master numbers and all that kind of stuff. And then the next one I did, because, I wasn't dating that guy, so I had nothing else to do. I have a lot of friends who are into witchcraft and Wicca and all that kind of stuff. And they're like, well, you need to make a book for us. I'm like, okay, I'll do that. And that's the one where I think I finally perfected it. The craft, no pun intended, of drawing, and clip arts and puzzles and everything. And that one's called The Awakening. And so that has like a do-it-yourself grimoire, different things. It talks about candle magic and color magic and herb magic and plant magic. And of course, it's got the puzzles and everything in there, just like all the others. And I'm like, okay, well, that's enough. I'm going to stop for a little bit. And so about that time, I'd been laid off from my job and I was really depressed, and so I could understand everything you were talking about, Katherine. And so after, flopping across the bed for a month or so, my little voice was going, you need to get up and just get up and go right now. I'm like, okay, where am I going? Or, do I have to do laundry? What do I need to do? And my little voice told me to go to Jefferson. I'm like, well, what the heck? I've never been to Jefferson. Let's go. And so I knew the Jefferson Hotel was there. So I looked online because I was going to make a reservation. And so I'm making the reservation like this, because it's a description of all the rooms and what's going on. I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't want to cheat, because Carla's seen me. I don't want to know this kind of stuff before I go in. And so there's a room, and it had a really pretty bed, and it was like one of the cheaper rooms, let's be honest. And and I was like, I'm going to get that one. And it was a Wednesday. I'm like, I don't have a job. I don't have a life. I have, my daughter, and she's got 5 cats, which I'm allergic to. So I need to get out of the house. And so I drove up there. I check into the Jefferson Hotel, and I was like, hey, I'm here. So he takes me up to room 19, and we all know what room 19 is, right?
Yeah.
He goes, he goes, Jeremy says, so why'd you pick this room? And I didn't want to say, well, my little voice told me to pick it because I'd never met this guy before, and I didn't want him to think I was a total fruitcake. And partial's okay. I was like, well, I just like the bed because it really is a pretty bed, I'm a Southern girl, and it's got pillows and it's got a duvet. Let's talk about the duvet. And so he goes, okay, well, this is our most haunted room. And it was right before Valentine's Day too. So, I'm trying to get over all this depression I have going on. He goes, this is what we call the haunted bride's room. I'm like, well, of course it is. Where else would I be but a haunted bride's room?
But a jilted bride's room.
Yeah. I'm like, expletives. I'm like, okay. So he tells me a little bit about the room. I'm like, don't tell me anything, And so he tells me a little bit about how she hung herself from the headboard. I'm like, oh, I can commiserate with her. I understand about relationships gone bad and unrequited love and all that kind of stuff. And so, he's okay. Now, if you need anything, here's my number and give me a text. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? And he goes, he and his wife were going to go into town and get something. And he goes, we'll be back in a couple of hours. I'm like, what, you're leaving me here alone? I'm here alone. He goes, yeah, but don't worry, nobody's checked in. You're the only one that's checking in tonight. I'm like, wait, I'm really here alone? So they left me. They did the little punch code and left me in the hotel. And I'm like, holy crap. Holy crud. And I did ask him if I could walk around barefoot because, being a Texan, I don't wear my shoes. And he's like, sure, go ahead. And he just, and they have those beautiful velvet ropes across the doors. And so he goes, First he tells me, you can look in, don't go in. I'm like, okay. And then it was, okay, well, you can look in, but don't sit on the bed. I'm like, okay, but thank you. And so he's like, oh, well, okay, if you sit on the bed, straighten it up. And I was like, he's such a nice person. You know? Okay.
You can sleep 10 minutes in each room.
Yeah.
Flip
It
the
just keeps
pillow
getting
back.
up and up.
Change the sheets.
That's right.
Flip the pillow over.
Yeah.
So he's so nice. And I was there all alone. And so I'm walking down the hall going, this is pretty darn cool. I'm in a haunted hotel and I'm all by myself. You know? And so life is going well until I get to the doll room, which is, halfway down the hall.
That's
And so I
Adam's
look in.
favorite.
Oh, I don't. I collect Barbies, collectible Barbies and stuff, but these big dolls, their heads half off and they're hanging over and they're upside down.
Woo!
Yeah.
Party town in there.
No, so I leaned over, and one of the things I do to try to keep the mood light is I do the guns. Hey guys. So I walked in, I leaned over at the ropes and I was like, hey guys, I'm Victoria. Can I take a picture? Well, thankfully they didn't say anything. So I lean over the rope and I take a few pictures. So I holster the guns, I put them back, and so I start to walk away. I'm not even 10 feet away from the door and I hear, I'm like, what? It's got to be motion activated. That's all there is. And so, I continue through the hotel. I find this secret staircase. And then I realized once I got in and closed the door, I have claustrophobia. And, so I had to crawl up the little ladder of death. And so by that time, they're all back. And he's like, how's it going? I was like, yeah, oh, it's great. And I found this, and I found this, and I found this. And your dolls were laughing. And which one's motion activated? And he's like, no, we don't have motion activated dolls. I'm like, really? Okay. So things kept happening. Yeah, I was sitting, I was waiting for dinner and I was sitting in the bride's room by myself and I had my feet up and I'm playing on my laptop, like I'm here, I got here safely. And all of a sudden I hear on that little table by the bed. I'm like, hi. You got the guns again. And, and I, just like in life, even when the cat comes in and talks to me, I stop what I'm doing and I give him my full attention. Same thing. If somebody's going to come knock on the door or knock on the table, I'm going to stop what I'm doing and I give them my full attention. It's like, hey, and I wait, nothing happens. And so I get my phone and I say, hey, so if something's knocking on the table next to me, that's normal, right? And the owner goes, nope, not usually. It's like, we're all downstairs. I'm like, okie dokie. And so things just keep happening. And it was like I was being tested, like, oh, look, there's the blonde girl. We're going to giggle. Well, she didn't run. Okay, well, we're going to lock her in the cabinet. Well, she didn't run. Okay, now we're going to knock on and it just kept amping up. I was like, oh, this is going to be a fun night, So things kept going on. And so while I was there, I called a friend of mine. I was like, oh my God, you won't believe, blah, 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 and you won't believe, blah, 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 blah. And I kept telling him everything that was going on. He's like, oh my God, calm down, calm it. Shh, shh, shh. He goes, you need to write a book. I'm like, we're back to this, are we? So I'm like, I got nothing going on right now. That's improper grammar. I have nothing going on right now. When I get home, I'm going to write a book. So I wrote a book real quick. And I self-published, and it was very tiny. But then there was an ad on Facebook, and it said, it was a publishing company that mainly, totally is looking for paranormal and true crime stories. And they were looking for nonfiction. I'm like, hey, I just wrote something. It's like the worst they can do is say no, right? So I sent it to them, and a couple of days later, I got a call and said, "Hey, can you add like another 10 chapters?" Oh, okay, sure, why not? So when we went back to History Haunts and Legends this past November, is that correct? Yes, because we had one in April. This last November, so many more things happened, and so I added another 10 chapters, and then they published the book, and that is. My
Yay!
And there's pictures and scary people I saw and my dog.
And we can find that where if we wanted to
pretty
get
much
it
everywhere. It's on Amazon and barnesandnobles.com. And every now and then, just for fun, you should Google yourself just to see where it's at. It is on so many freaking websites. I don't know how to do it. And you just type in my name and it pops up everywhere. But mainly it's on Amazon and also on barnesandnoble.com.
Perfect.
I
Got
I've
it.
added a
I'm
link in the comments.
Yeah.
I know what I'm gonna do once I show up to their doll room, in August. So
Doing the
the
guns?
gun,
That's
the guns. Yeah,
Oh
I'm gonna do
yeah,
that. So
yeah.
I want to
I
make
think
sure
they
I
were.
do that.
I think they were laughing at me, to be honest. Like, check her out.
They're probably
He's
thinking
doing the guns. Yeah, yeah.
But it's all about
They-
raising the vibration, It's
Hmm.
They're gonna be like just like that blonde haired girl before. Here's this guy.
oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Yay.
Just walk around with a martini glass full of soda. They'll know who you are.
Yeah.
So
Oh, it's awesome.
So what else have you got going on? What's coming up? What's going to be new, do you think?
well, there's something big Saturday, but I can't say. Not till afterwards.
Oh.
Look, Carla will be there. So,
Oh.
yeah.
Okay.
We'll talk later.
Will,
Sorry, Adam.
will, will,
Sorry, Adam.
will you be needing your tech guy with you?
Possibly. Can you get up here real quick?
Real quick.
I'll be there in the morning.
I don't do mornings. I will roll over in bed and I'll look at my phone and it's like the butt crack of dawn and it's 8:30 in the morning and there's like all these messages from my friends. I'm like, it's not even 11 o'clock in the morning.
That's lunchtime.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
What? I'm a zombie.
I
Yeah.
was about to say, have lunch ready and I'll be there by then.
Okay.
That's okay. I wake up in the morning, a normal morning, and I see that one of my girlfriends is sending stuff at like 3:30 in the morning.
Oh,
I'm still up.
you haven't gone to bed yet. Yeah.
Wait, you're
Yeah.
nocturnal, Katherine, right? Didn't you say you were nocturnal?
Yeah, but I gotta work, so I have to go to sleep. I gotta get my sleep because I gotta be up at. Well, I mean, Glenn gets up at 5:30, and then I in the morning. Yeah,
Whoa.
and then I'm kind of already awake, anyways. But I tried to sleep just a little bit and then get up at 6. But sometimes I just wake up and then
You can't go back to sleep.
yeah. And so I'm just like stumbling around, grabbing my clothes,
So that's your 11 a.m. It's the same thing as me. If you're
Yeah.
out walking around at 3:30 in the morning, it's much cooler and there's no traffic. So,
Oh yeah.
and nothing's open. But,
Yeah. That's the only thing, Yeah. Now, well, no, I don't know if anything's open in Louisiana, but because they'll stay up late.
There's an
The
old
bar's
saying-
open.
Oh, well, I wouldn't know anything about going to a bar because I'm not
Well,
old enough.
brothels.
Oh yeah, brothels. We dressed up. Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At old Park. We were all trigger. Well, not Adam, but he didn't dress up in brothel attire. Yeah. There's a girl.
I
No.
had clothes. Adam, I had clothes for you.
That was a fun night.
I had
Oh
a
my
blue
goodness.
outfit you would have looked in.
They make wigs for that, Adam. Ah.
Mhm.
Yeah, between 6 and 6:30.
Yeah, there is an old saying is something like loosely translated. The best sunrise I ever saw was the one where I stayed up all night. And that's actually true because you have so much fun when you're up all night. And I think it's the sleep deprivation kicks in too. It
Wow.
makes
Yeah.
you all giggly. But,
Well, it was fun, like when we over the weekend, like having LAN parties with our friends and connecting all our computers together and play computer games and have drinks and food and stuff, and they'd be, lots of laughter and craziness,
Yeah.
ooh,
all through the night. Yeah.
I remember
So,
those days.
yeah.
come back, Carla, come back. Adam, come on.
Yay.
Join
It would be
us.
a party.
Yeah.
So talk to us a little bit
Be-
about
be-
your podcast, the rabbit.
Oh, yeah.
not the rabbit hole. It's the edge of the rabbit hole.
Mhm.
It's not mine. I'm just there. It was, again, a freak accident, a story of my life. I just show up. And there was a podcast, and it went for 7 years, and it was called Edge of the Rabbit Hole, and it was Mike Ricksecker, and he owns Haunted Road Media, and he had his co-host Vanessa Hogel, and they had done it. Okay, what's that? Did you hear that?
I
Yeah.
did.
What was that?
The dogs in the
Okay.
other room.
Is it a ghost dog?
They're
No,
fighting each
they're
other.
real dogs.
They're playing.
Now, see, I'm going to be that way all night. What was that?
T-Bone.
Yeah, ever since, yeah.
He's gonna go
Anyway.
take care of the
Yeah,
dog.
he's gonna go, y'all be quiet. Quit fighting.
As long as it's not paranormal dogs. I
Yeah.
don't know if I can handle that.
So when does that show on, and when do you?
I haven't figured that out yet. It's once a month. It's not exact because we did it. I was on there for 2 years. After Vanessa quit, he said, well, we need somebody. And so I said, okay, I'd like to volunteer. My little voice is going, you want it? You want to do it? I'm like, no, I really don't, because my degree is in film production. So I'm definitely a behind the scenes person. I'm not comfortable in front of the camera. But I tried, and he goes, okay, well, we'll have you on first, and then we'll go to somebody else. We'll go to somebody else. And then like a month later, we'll give you another opportunity. I'm like, okay, sounds good. Well, I was on like 3 years ago. And then the next week he called me back. He said, you want to do it again? I'm like, sure. Okay. But what about everybody else? He's like, yeah, we'll just keep you. And then after that second show, he goes, let's just keep you. I mean, this was good. I'm like, okay. So we did that for 2 years. And then last March, so March of what year is this? 23. So March of 22, he called it quits. I was really sad, but it was a good time to break, it was, clip season. So, and I moved up to this paranormal witness protection program that I'm in. So, I moved up here to an undisclosed location, and, so I had a remote job, and I was concentrating on writing and, getting back into life again, because it was, my Saturn return. I lost my dad, my daughter moved out, my husband had died, and we had 5 cats. So, I needed to change. But then we started again last month. And so it's on a Wednesday at 7 p.m. Texas time, because let's be honest, Texas time is the only time that matters. You have to figure it from there. But it's towards the end of the month. So our next one is the 27th, I think, or the 25th, whatever that Wednesday is. And we're going to have a psychic lawyer on, and he's written this fantastic book called The Afterlife Frequency. And again, it's all about harmonics and vibrations and what happens when you cross over. And it's this amazing book, and I'm actually going to read it. So really quickly, I'm going to read it. So
Okay.
It's once a month on a Wednesday, date to be determined. Because I thought it was like the 3rd Wednesday, but now it's the 4th Wednesday. And so I don't know. Who knows?
Well, just let us know and we'll share it out.
Yeah, we'll share it.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Yeah, we talked to a lot of researchers and authors and para celebrities, if you want to call them that. And, so it's fun kind of breaking down the persona they have. To the world, they have like, I'm a researcher. And they're like, okay, well, what do you like? Peanut butter and jelly? What kind of jelly do you like? And I just kind of, and it totally throws them off. You're like grape? I'm a strawberry girl. I like the strawberries, preserves.
Yeah, I like strawberry too.
Yeah.
We can start talking about.
I like raspberry personally.
Yeah, well, yeah, that sounds good. I love berries.
Oh, thank you. I love Jamie Lynn, by the way. She's this amazing, amazing soul. She just did a pop-up Paracon for
Aww.
Broadhead, Broad Manor, Broad somebody. I'm sorry. I know it was Broad something, but she put a lot of work into that, and she did, a great job raising money to help, refurbish it.
Aww.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I think we're at.
But I was going to say really quick, Carla and them were always reminding me to, it would be better if I moved up to North Texas. So,
Come on.
Come to the dark side.
So much easier.
Come to
vacations.
Come to the dark side.
That's right.
Magnolia 3 magnolias. Okay.
Come to the dark side.
Look
Look at Tony. She goes, yes.
Tony, come on, Catherine, come on.
Yeah.
Who else, Tony?
Adam needs to move central, so
Yeah.
UFW
When we
area, so that way he's like right smack in between all of us.
when we come down there in July, we'll just have to like, you know, tie him up and throw him in the trunk and then take him with us back up north.
I can't do that because I have a 2-seater. I'd have to strap him across the hood like he was a deer.
I have a big trunk. No. Actually, I think I'm going to be riding with Tony. So we'll make room. There's plenty of room in the back. It's just me and Tony.
Adam knows about sharing space in a vehicle.
Oh yeah, with
Yes,
Tony. Yeah, Tony said we could use her car.
It's got the luggage rack. Right?
That's right.
You can just add extra people as you need.
Joanne, you should know. Joanne is one of my friends. She should know this already. No, I haven't tied up anybody, but John, her brother-in-law, has. One of our friends hog-tied him because he was trying to escape the house because we were having a LAN party and he got a little, you know, drunk. And so he hog-tied him.
And it turned into a nice thread.
Yeah. Maybe I should have John come with us. He'll hog-tie Adam. No, just kidding.
Oh, man.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, no, I'm just kidding.
I don't think I want to see her come down here anymore.
Oh, no.
No, I'm ready for
He's already
I'm ready for y'all to come
nervous.
down here.
Yeah.
Adam, you need to get a house like in Ballinger so we can just stay with you, you know, and it's just, you know, it'd be like a centrally located or just have multiple houses. I think
Yeah.
I'll do that. I'll sign up for 3 of them tomorrow.
I think we all need to like pitch in and get a haunted house out of Jefferson.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't want to brag.
B&B
I
or
won.
something.
You
I
won.
won $9 on 3 tickets.
Oh,
Ooh,
there you go.
So
$9
start.
less.
that's the
Just
start.
price.
Yeah.
you can buy a big gulp.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Big gulps for everyone.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Well, this
Well,
was
thank
a
you
lot
so much.
of fun.
Oh,
This is a lot of fun. I
Yes.
think we're at our hour or a little bit past, but
Just by 4 minutes, but
yeah, we
Whatever.
enjoyed having you, Victoria.
thank you.
yeah, this was a blast.
Oh,
Of
yeah.
course.
Well,
Aw.
yeah.
best of luck to you. I know you're going to do great, and you're going to have like Richard Nixon on one weekend. Oh, can you channel him? That'd be cool.
Yeah. that would have to be a channel thing.
Yeah, well, pick somebody. Abraham Lincoln. Okay, that's a little too much information there.
Jamie. Oh my goodness.
You didn't have any jelly or what?
Let the dogs go after him. Oh my goodness.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh.
Well, I love you all, and thank you for having
Oh, yay.
me.
Woo. Take a snapshot. Oh,
So,
yes.
Yeah,
Um,
the tattoo.
for everybody watching, thank you so very much for participating and chatting with us and helping us through our first launch. Many more to come. Our show is going to be every first and third Thursday of the month. So our next
Yay.
one will be on the 20th of July. And our guest will be Tracy Mays with Wandering Souls Paranormal. She'll be on here. We're excited for that.
Yay.
Oh, it was a good
Aw.
night. It was a good night. It was a lot of fun.
Yes. Thank you all for joining us. We
Yeah.
really appreciate it and for sharing out the video. Yeah, I'm glad that this came out successful because I was worried about all the streaming and getting it all set up, and
Well, don't
I'm like,
forget,
oh gosh,
for everybody
losing
watching,
internet.
please drop us a note in the comments and just
Yes.
let us know, like, subject matter, like what would you like us to show, or what would you like to see, and stuff like that. And we're all about like pulling this whole thing together with y'all.
Yay. Oh, love you guys.
Oh, yeah.
And I
Love
put
you
in the
too.
comments, also, what topics you guys would like to see. So y'all should be able to see that, and you can just
Yeah.
put in your comments and we'll tally them up.
All right, y'all.
All
We'll
right.
see you on the 20th. Have a good night.
Yay.
Thank you, Victoria.
Good
Oh,
night.
Bye.
Good night,
Thanks, you
everybody.
guys.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Good night.